Between the hills, the stars, the sky, the river so clear, river so clear.
Let us join in a spirit of meditation, reflection, or prayer as we deepen into our service and share our opening words for this morning to be read by Pat Conrad. The poem is by Gwendolyn Brooks, titled To Prisoners.
I call for you cultivation of strength in the dark gardening in the vertigo cold, in hot paralysis, under the wolves and coyotes of particular silences, where it's dry, where it's dry. I call for you cultivation of victory over long blows that you want to give and blows you're not going to get, over what crumbles you down to sicken you. I call you cultivation of strength to heal and enhance in the non-cheering dark, in the many, many mornings after, in the chalk and choke.
We join Unitarians and Universalists all over the world in lighting our chalice. Would Mary please come up to light the chalice, which is a symbol of the spark of life in each of us. If you are on Zoom and have your chalice with you, we invite you to turn on your video to share while we light them. We are in good company. Our chalice lighting words are titled Connected Through the Web of Life by Jennifer Grayson. We light this chalice, symbol of purpose, to bring more love and justice into the world. We light this chalice knowing our congregation as a church dispersed across communities, not bound by walls, but connected through the web of life.
One drop, like a lantern, oil run dry. With that, we ask why life is living for today. You have all you need in grace, and we shine as little lights. No need to be right. It's a simple dance, it's a simple grace. One drop of love is all we need to be free. One drop of love, one drop of joy, one drop of grace is all you need to be free. And we shine as little lights. No need to be right. It's a simple dance, it's a simple grace. One drop of love is all we need to be free. One drop, 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 one drop.
This morning, we are going to share information with you about the Worthy Now Prison Ministry Network, of which both Elicia and I are active volunteers. The Worthy Now Prison Ministry Network, referred to as Worthy Now, is a liberal religious coalition powered by the Church of the Larger Fellowship, which is located in Boston. and organized by 6 employees. It includes individuals, groups, and communities of faith called to prison ministry and justice. And for those of you not familiar with the Church of the Larger Fellowship, also referred to as CLF, the CLF is a congregation without a building, without walls, connecting people all over the world for spiritual growth, worship, learning, and mutual support. The CLF engages people of all ages and stages in Unitarian Universalism, and its many ministries nurture depth and meaning in places as diverse as family dinner tables, military mess halls, and prison cells, which includes Worthy Now. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation with no geographical boundary, the CLF creates global spiritual community rooted in profound love, which cultivates wonder, imagination, and a courage to act. They have right now about 3,500 members and friends all over the world. And what brings them together is their desire to connect, seek, share, and grow in their journeys. Worthy Now invites people on both sides of the prison walls into beloved community, and it doesn't matter whether you're in the free world or imprisoned. We declare that all people are worthy of love, respect, and support, not at some future time when we're better people, but as we are right now. Their dream is for all people who are imprisoned to know that they are inherently worthy now of love and justice, and for them to have access to religious freedom. Worthy Now is committed to strengthening our Unitarian Universalist first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, with this declaration. This is the saving message of our first principle, and it's the foundation for Worthy Now. Some information about the program. The Ministry of Worthy Now includes not only UU membership through the CLF, but also access to the Pen Pal program, as long as there are enough UU volunteers in the free world to meet the need. And these are some statistics from 2022 from the CLF and Worthy Now office. So 2022, they had, excuse me, they had 1,604 incarcerated members with an estimated 1,655 at present. Each new member is automatically registered to take an introductory Unitarian Universalist correspondence course. And passing this course is a prerequisite to taking future courses, as well as to receiving a free world pen pal. 2,567 pen pal letters were forwarded to the Boston office. 1,032 individual letters were sent from the Boston office to individuals with questions or responding to people needing pastoral care. 11 issues of Quest, which is the CLF worship publication, were mailed to each of their incarcerated members. And they did send me a few copies of that publication just to share with all of you. And it's on the back counter there after the service if you want to take a look. 2 issues of the Worthy Now newsletter were mailed to each of their 1,604 incarcerated members. And there's a fall issue and a spring issue. Most CLF members in prison are new to Unitarian Universalism and learned about the CLF from friends or cellmates. With no access to the internet or Sunday services, people who are incarcerated can only learn about Unitarian Universalism from the mailings they send to them and the letters they exchange with their staff and the UU pen pals. Worthy Now staff matches CLF members who are incarcerated with UUs who live in the free world. For a minimum of 6 months, pen pals will exchange letters on topics of mutual interest. The CLF's Worthy Now provides volunteers with opportunities to live out our Unitarian Universalist values by connecting with a pen pal. At Worthy Now, their message is that All of us are part of the interwoven fabric of the universe. We are deeply and undeniably connected. We acknowledge that while our behaviors can vary, from loving to hate-filled acts of disruption and harm, our inherent worth remains unchanged. This universalist lens is what they hope their pen pals enter their relationships through. Incarceration in the United States is complex and tainted by white supremacy culture. Worthy Now does not share their incarcerated members' crimes with the general public and pen pal volunteers, and they suggest that volunteers refrain from trying to find out what their pen pals are incarcerated for. Instead, they ask volunteers to embrace our Unitarian heritage and talk about anything else with their assigned pen pals. And this, they say this is an example of where our faith rubber hits the road. Can we hold multiple truths? Our incarcerated siblings may have done horrible things, and they still deserve for us to honor their worth and dignity. And for anyone thinking about becoming a pen pal volunteer, here's a little information for you. Worthy Now states that some of us are able to embrace this more than others, and they encourage individuals to think about this before signing up for the program. They encourage potential volunteers to think about their pasts and past triggers, and they recognize that the pen pal program with incarcerated individuals isn't for everyone, and that's okay. This relationship has the power to bring you to proximity to the issues of people who find themselves incarcerated. In turn, your heart may be renewed by witnessing the power of Unitarian Universalism present in even the most difficult of places. Volunteers bring incarcerated pen pals a message of hope and can make a big impact in someone's life. Benefits to incarcerated pen pals include raised hope for life beyond prison, positive changes in self-identity and self-esteem, fewer feelings of isolation, and positive communication and connections with volunteers, which raises confidence to successfully live in the free world. Requirements for participation include you must be at least 21. You must be a member of the CLF or another UU congregation for 6 months or more. You must affirm that you've not been arrested, incarcerated, or on parole or probation in the prior 12 months. And then you read and agree to their guidelines. And now Elicia is going to share her experience as a volunteer with the program.
So in preparation for this, I spent a few hours probably poring over this shoebox of letters, and it was really cool to just kind of wrap my mind around all the exchanges we've had. And this friend, I have a friend in North Carolina who happens to be finishing up their sentence, will be released in July, I believe. And, you know, we've made a connection through this medium of just writing to each other, which doesn't really exist anymore, does it? But a couple letters into it, he's let me know that he's got a YouTube channel. And Jeff, like how he was born, his name Jerry Jeff Watley, that's his YouTube channel. But I did get express permission to display his artwork, which I've been waiting to do this for months too. Those two writings there under Joseph Watley, he had those published in the CLF newsletter, and he was really proud of that. So what's it like for him in prison? And this was like, you know, part of my learning experience through this connection, like the real inside sense. So imagine you're in a room and you have 4 cameras pointed at you, and there's a box that's like telling you whatever, and there's constant, you know, intercom telling them, person go here, person go there. There is 60 men in a dorm, bunks lined on both sides, literally one arm's width away from each other. and no air conditioning in North Carolina. There's 4 fans in that one room. The food, he has the benefit of he's working in the kitchen, so he can kind of get food, but he made a comment how he, part of his path, his meditation, I had 3 options for getting a vegan diet: Muslim, Hindu, or Rastafarian. He said, I think I'll go with Hindu. So he's like a self-advocacy going on with this Joseph that I'm inspired by, in spite of the circumstances, in spite of the environment, he's doing what he can. That job in the kitchen, apparently, I thought this was per hour, and it was like, no, per day. He gets $1.25 a day to do that, and $8.75 a week. So he's getting some money for it, but really, that's criminal. And they charge for things like tablet time use. If you want food out of the vending machine, that takes money, right? So where do they get this money from? He's making that little bit of money. He said he spends about $50 a month on these things, other things. So I thought that was interesting, just the financial logistics of it. Apparently, if he's about to be released in July, it's not uncommon for a prisoner to go out from that and be in debt. Like 80 to 85% of them have some kind of debt leaving prison. I don't know that that's accrued in it or whatever, but if we're going to do this right, and we're giving these people like no chance really. If you put someone in desperate situation, they do desperate things. So how about not do that? And it also got me really thinking about addiction and that whole dynamic, that we treat that like it's a criminal offense when it should be treated like a medical imbalance, or at least the things that do work, like this has been a great resource the past year, kind of really slowly working through it around trauma and body practices and body centering. The things that we know that work for trauma and addiction are there, but it's like pushed against each other. Okay, there's this horrible environment, but here's all these resources for recovery and churches and stuff like that. But even that, this person, like I relate to too, when you have issues with religion and being able to accept that help because your family was super religious, because you have like spiritual trauma around God, it's hard to take in that help. He says, I'm a part of society, just not the outside society.
What I'm trying to say is I love you and I miss you. And I'm sorry that I did you wrong. Look up, darling. Let me kiss you. Just for old time's sake, and let me hold you in my arms one more time. Thank you, darling. May God bless you. And may each step you take bring you closer to the things you seek to find. Well, goodbye, darling. I gotta go now. Gotta try to find a way to lose these memories of the love so warm and true. And if you should ever find it in your heart to forgive me, well, come back, darling. I'll be waiting for you.
So let's just take a minute and we're going to send Joseph Whatley positive energy. We're going to imagine smooth transition back into the outside society. their continued meditation practice, prayer, sense of guidance, sense of internal peace. They find a place that's comforting, that's home, to land, work that's fulfilling, maybe working with horses. They get a guitar again, they get a haircut after 3 years of no haircuts, they get a hug after 3 years of no hug. They stay sober, they have a recovery community, they have the support they need, and are happy, well, and blessed. And like he ended one of his letters, many, 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 many blessings, many, 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 many blessings back to you, Joseph.
There's a facility in Florida that takes all of the incoming mail and they process it, and it goes out to several different prison systems. And I wasn't hearing from this person and realized that the facility scans and then photocopies all of the material. Like they open everything, do that, package it back, the letter back up, and then mail it to the prison that it's supposed to go to in the person. But I was sending self-addressed stamped envelopes inside to help them out because it costs money to find paper and envelopes, and they didn't accept the stamps. And rather than still, they could have made a photocopy of the letters. They just threw it all away, and the person never got it. And this person is transgender, and I've never heard from them, and the CLF has never heard from them. And when you think about like over 600 people incarcerated that they're working with, and I've never met this person, and we're truly worrying about this person that we've never met for their safety and well-being. I just want to thank Elicia for, she's the one who told me about the program probably a year ago. And it's just so fulfilling and for me, life-changing to put yourself in that situation and connect with people. And
Thank you for suggesting this program that we talk about it.
they always need more volunteers, which is part of the reason we're doing this. So if any of you have additional questions or you want to find out how to become a volunteer, we can talk to you about that. And I believe for the chat, sure, yep, that'll go in the chat and Zoom, and then I will ask Angela to email the links out to everybody so you can get more information. And again, if you have any questions about Worthy Now, feel free to ask Elicia or me. And our closing words are "Open Up the Doors" by Linda Susan Ulrich, which will be read by Dennis.
Open up the doors. Push on looming wooden arches embroidered with ironwork. Brace shoulders against the weight of the history unmoved. Slough off musty smell of unused joy and stored up sorrow. There's more. Oh, there's a lot more. Knock rust off hinges if you have to, and let your breath precede you inside. Open the door more. Make room for a shaft of sunlight to cross the threshold. Give the dust mote something to dance about. Peek through a single slice of possibility and name even the hidden truths you see. Open the door wider still. Pour yourself through the gap. Strut or sneak or sidle as best suits you. Cleanse whatever scrapes catch your skin and bind up the wounds that keep you from entering whole. Open the doors as far as they will go. Draw on the strength of the stones beneath you. Ground yourself in a firm sense of who you are. Stand as a beacon, welcoming the next seeker, and shine far beyond the sill. Open all that you are. Heighten and deepen your connection to the world around you. Broaden your definition of neighbor. Grow in the largest target for grace that you can muster, and pray to become a gateway for even greater love and compassion. Open up the doors, my friends, lest we keep the stranger out and condemn ourselves to prisons of our own making.
And the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Another day goes by until the children cry for the love in your heart. Take a good look around, and if you're looking down for the love in your heart, and the world will be a better place.